Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to our deciding game number 3. It's Neolution International versus LGD Gaming International. A lot of people probably assumed this would be a clean 2-0 sweep, but they were wrong. It is now game 3. LGD.int, they took game 1 convincingly, but Neolution.int battled back and really slapped them around on the back of an amazing Mr. Swish, classic Pinoy-style Queen of Pain with that big old bad Dagon. So now they force game 3, but LGD.int, they're starting with a more stable draft. They're going to open with the Pycat Lone Druid. I'm LD. I'm joined here by Luminous of Beyond the Summit, and thank you all for joining us today. Lumi, your thoughts on this game number 3. Who's going to take it?
I thought LGD would clean 2-0 sleep as well after that game 1 performance. Neolution really opened up my eyes in that game too. So it's going to be mostly decided in the draft, in my opinion. I feel like if there's a very, very even draft, LGD still, quote-unquote, the better, more experienced team, especially if they're training with the best every single day in, day out. I expect them to take it if the draft works out right. Obviously, they outdrafted Neolution very much so in game number 1. And game 2, I think they were a little bit surprised with the Shadow Demon Dazzle as well as the Invoker combo. Was pretty beautiful to watch, not only in the laning phase, but also during the big, bad team fights. I'm very surprised that LGD picks up Lone Druid instead of Magnus, because they were known to actually have first pick Magnus in just about every situation they get.
Yeah.
And very surprising to see them, just go Lone Druid right here.
But they have so many options from here. There's a Darkseer in the pool, there's a Chen in the pool, and the classic LGD style really throughout G League was get a hero who can farm a fast mech like a Darkseer, get your strong pushing carry, be it the Luna, the Lone Druid, something like that, and then get your Chen +1, Rubik or Shadow Demon being the ideal 2 choices. So they could get at least 2 of those 3 remaining pieces if they want to go for their signature 5-man look to end the game at 30 minutes Dota. NeoES got to start with the Shadow Demon and getting a strong hero to counter 5-man in the Magnus. If you get caught by that RP, boy, does it hurt. Sure, LGD, they could go for the Darkseer, get that fast mech online, but still an RP under the tower with enough burst damage can be enough to really punish you. So I like this pick from LGD.int. They go for the mag here. And one thing that's interesting, Lumi, we're actually seeing, for once in a while, a Keeper of the Light slip through. And if you do want to go for 5-man and you don't take Keeper, well, it gets hard to push.
Well, if let's say Neolution picks up a Keeper right now, LGN probably will counter it with the Juggernaut Healing Ward and try to outpush that one. But I completely agree. There's just a lot of stuff that's going to be thrown your way. Keeper and Shadow Demon Poison Stacks and Shockwave. And I feel like if LGN don't pick it up right now, they're just letting a free one fly by. I mean, there's also Darkseer too, so a lot of powerful heroes being left in the pool because heroes like Queen of Pain and Lifestealer being banned out. A little bit of a respect ban, I have to say. Queen of Pain generally not a really well-respected hero back in the Chinese scene because, I mean, she doesn't have those big game impact, but last game she did. She did quite a bit with that quick work.
Oh, man. Mr. Swish did so much work. And what an appropriate name it is for... I mean, he was basically slamming a jam in all game log. As for LGD, and let's see what they go for. They don't have to go for the 5-man Dota. It's just, well, it's what we expect from them, really, because of the way they've shown to play in the past. But they do have some options here. They could even go for the Keeper, run an aggressive tri-lane with that Keeper, run the Lone Druid as that safe lane solo, or even the mid solo 1v1, and either way would be pretty strong. Lone Druid can beat Magnus in lane. They go for Leshrac and Rubik, so not opting to take the jungler here, but ensuring that they have a strong dual stun combo. So if they want to go aggressive, they have the setup, they have the follow-up. The options are open for LGD, and I'm almost positive we will... well, it could even... I mean, I imagine it'll be a support Leshrac at this point, but it's not out of the question. They could run it as something for G mid and then maybe pick up the Chen for Misery.
Yeah, LG also looks like they're trying to set up a Gyrocopter pick as their third on their tri-lane, offensive tri-lane, and this is a very, very powerful tri-lane. It's no Rubik Leshrac into Rocket and everything else, but lift into a stun is still very, very good. And I think this is a lot of option and a lot of incentive for Neolution to go Keeper of Light right here. Not only is it good against a 5-man like you talked about, it's also insanely powerful against the offensive tri-lane lineup that the LGD loves to run. I mean, no tri-lane really will able to survive Illuminate to the face every other 10 seconds.
I totally agree. And here's the question is, who is going to be that third hero for LGD? Because they're not getting Gyrocopter now. They will at the first pick coming out of the draft, so maybe it's something that they look to, that Neolution has to spend a ban on. They pick Undying. They leave Keeper in the pool. A very strong tri-lane hero as well. Also, Libby, it's worth mentioning, I believe the new patch has actually kicked in. So Keeper of the Lights received some nerfs. I believe the radius or the width of his Illuminate is a bit lower, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the cooldown is a bit longer. Is that...
I think the mana cost.
The mana cost is higher.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Which
he's had some
is a
nerfs,
big
but
deal.
he's still Keeper of the Light.
He's still Keeper of Light. He still has all of that versatility. No, LG Gaming not going to be going for the gyrocopter. So, excuse me for predicting that one wrong. Undying plus Shadow Demon does open it up for Neolution for a lot of aggressive tri-lane. So, I mean, LG Gaming known to run aggressive tri-lanes themselves. I think they might not be able to kind of tackle head on because this tri-lane here for Neolution has a lot of horns so far. I mean, every single hero on Neolution has horns. I think does Shadow Demon have horns? He has horns around him. So.
Okay.
Close enough.
Well, apparently this game is not in Dota TV, so I'm actually going to message Atri now, our admin, and make sure he knows. We'll have to restart after the draft, guys. I apologize. It looks like our admin may have forgotten to... It's not actually Atri hosting the games. It's Pikachu from G1 League, so don't be mad at him, though. He's putting on this awesome event. He is the head admin, organizer, and does a bit of casting as well on the side here and there. But NeoEnt, looking to fight this tri-lane head-on. That's why you pick up the Undying, and now they're banning out the Juggernaut. A hero that synergizes really nicely with Rubik Leshrac, and I think a smart ban because Juggernaut's a hero that can just flat out kill you. I mean, even if you disrupt a hero, you may die after that disruption just to all the chain stun, all the burst. Probably the single most burst damage for a tri-lane carry outside of Gyrocopter, and also has magic immunity, so it doesn't have to worry about being aggressive nearly as much. A smart ban because now it's more likely it'll be sustained fights, and that's where Undying is really going to excel.
Yeah, Undying normally, of course, opening up with Decay at level 1, and depending on how they feel about the lane itself, generally go for heal as well as the Tombstone. So it's actually a little bit difficult to predict that skill build as well. And now it seems like Neolution targeting a G's hero. Templar Assassin is going to get banned out, but G's got a bunch of heroes. He could play the Darkseer mid, he could play that Beastmaster if what he wants. I don't think Beastmaster is going to be good here against Undying. I'm not sure what G is actually going to play, though. It seems like whenever he's not playing the Magnus, he's not playing in a very, very comfortable position.
Yeah, guys, don't worry. The game will be remade for those who are trying to watch in Dota TV. So sorry about that, but you can watch the draft on the stream. They got inside the lobby or the Dota TV in time for the game. And of course, thanks to everyone who bought a ticket. You are supporting the G1 League directly. If you're watching this on Twitch, well, as I've been said before, you're doing it wrong. Go to g1.2p.com. Watch on their website. If you don't like their website for some reason, email me feedback about it at bts@beyondthesummit.tv, and we will relay that onto the G1 League admins. And I think I said G League earlier, but I meant G1. Even I confused them, not in my brain, but just in my mouth from time to time. But yeah, this is, of course, the G1 League, brought to you by 17173.com. A deciding game 3 between LGD.int and neolution.int, and we're now seeing the Shadow Fiend ban, the Gyrocopter ban, and the Luna ban. All of the carries in the game, basically, that are left. So LGD.int, they've got the strongest carry on the board right now, the Lone Druid. And NeoEnt, I don't know what they really go to. What do you think? I mean, we've seen Ninja Boogie play things like Storm Spirit in the past, but against this kind of lineup, that's pretty risky.
Yeah, I mean, there are carries that are more traditional, like the Void or the Anti-Mage and Dragon Knight, for example. But these are more of carries that don't explode and snowball out of control, not like a Shadow Fiend, like a Gyrocopter. So, and of course, there's that quick mech buyer. That's a potential quick mech buyer from Nature's Prophet, especially if he's going to be playing in a very protected position. Or we could see that Midas into a Shadow Blade build, which is very, very common still. But I don't think that's how LGD will be playing it.
Yeah, it looks like they probably want to do the Lone Druid mid, the Prophet safe lane, or maybe you flip those two around and then run the aggressive tri-lane. Leshrac, Rubik +1. I'm not entirely sure who that +1 will be at this point. I mean, maybe it's even something like the Clockwork, who is still in the pool. Doesn't give you the most damage, but has so much disable when you combine it with Rubik and Leshrac, and could look to get some kills. The only thing is the burst won't be there quite to the same degree as when they have a Gyrocopter, and potentially that's where Decay Spam can turn the lane around. But Neolution.int are going to go for a slightly weaker Is this actually a solo Shadow Shaman?
It could be. It definitely could be. I mean, the mid lane is all about the spam, and Aftershock spam with Bottle and Regen is not that bad. And of course, getting ability to get a quick Blink Dagger on Shadow Shaman could be good as well. Now, Magnus wants mid. Shadow Demon needs mid. He could be played as a support, and most teams do play him as a support, but he's very weak in the tri-lane, I feel.
Yeah, he's a weak tri-lane hero. He's much like Lion. I mean, arguably a tiny bit stronger just because Ether Shock does some decent damage at the early levels, but very mana intensive. And LGD.int, wow, they're going to round it out with a Chen. So I guess an offensive tri-lane with the Chen and Prophet and Lone Druid is those two strong defensive solos, especially that Lone Druid should be able to win his matchup 1v1 if it's handled by Pycat against whoever he's up against. But with the Chen pick, I mean, a hero that's not quite as dominant at the early levels as, say, an Enchantress, but maybe doesn't need to be because they're going to have the Prophet to TPN, and I don't know if NeoES.int is going to be able to stop the pushes. They could go for a Keeper of the Light here, but they don't have a carry, so it's not really an option. I feel like getting the Keeper would have been the better choice this game, but they opt not to take it. Let's see if they're going to be punished for this. I'm not sure what they're going to do with this tri-lane.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of trialing, Undying's probably... Oh, there's that Keeper.
What is going on?
I mean, trialing Keeper when Undying Shadow Demon, there's a lot of decent damage output. You Shadow Demon Disrupt, you put a Tombstone on top, Illuminate being channeled through, and of course, pretty much everybody's dead. I feel like I like this trialing quite a bit. I just am blown away that Keeper is going to be the 10th pick in this particular game. And also, you got to keep in mind that against a Chen doesn't kill very quickly. He might have Centaurs and Furbolgs running in. That's a lot of time for Undying running around, decaying the other two supports. That's time for a Keeper to actually set up Illuminate. So I like this draft from Neolution.
All right, guys, we're going to have a quick AP remake. The only thing for Neolution, Lumi, is they have no late game. I mean, I guess they have Empower, but that's really about it. So the pressure will be on their lineup to actually end this, I want to say, within those first 30 minutes or so, and that may be tough. Pycat definitely going to be by far the hardest carry in the game on that lone druid. Maybe we see a carry mag. You know, maybe it's a game where the Magnus goes for, say, that Battle Fury, that Daedalus, you know, some sort of physical damage output, because they don't have anything after, like, the 25-30 minute mark.
Yeah, you have to keep in mind that Tombstone, that's a building, and last time I checked, Lone Druid very good against killing buildings, so...
Yeah, I've actually never seen that in real life. I haven't seen too many bears knocking buildings down, but...
Well, you need to go more campy.
Yeah, apparently.
Well, maybe not buildings. So those tents, though, they get mauled down.
These towers are like 20, 30 feet tall, but hopefully there's not a grizzly about to take my house down.
I mean, have you watched Dota 1? That bear is like the biggest thing on the map.
I'm just saying, it doesn't make sense. Dota lies. Dota, not logical, not sensical here, but... Well, we're going to have a quick remake. So, after seeing the draft, who are you going to favor?
Neolution, I mean, it's very, very risky. Like you talked about, having past 25-minute, 30-minute, if they don't win that early game big, they're going to have big trouble. But that trialing, if you play correctly, it's just almost unbeatable. We saw in game 1, if you get that 3-4-0 kill advantage, the game just snowballs out from there.
So if you're LGD.int, maybe you look to dodge the trialing. You have a Prophet. He doesn't need to be in a lane. He can just go jungle. You could just run... who was the other solo? He could just go... The lone druid can just go mid. You could run that defensive tri-lane as well, and... just look to dodge it, basically. So if maybe Neolution are the ones who say, we're going to go aggressive, we're fighting you. Like, that's the thing for them, is I feel like they pretty much have to fight tri-lane versus tri-lane, or the strength of their lineup is going to be largely wasted. And then we come to the mid-game, LGD has the early mech on the Prophet, the lone druid's getting tanky, and then it gets hard for Neolution. The issue is, running Shadow Shaman in an offensive tri-lane is not really ideal. So I feel like LGD, the best thing for them is probably to dodge.
Yeah, I mean, dodging's not bad. Especially if you could get your trialing against either Mag or Shadow Shaman, because those are two really, really bad heroes against trialings. So I think if, let's say, LG matches up correctly, then they should be in okay shape. But if not, then Neolution is in a better shape, because let's not forget about Shadow Shaman's tower capabilities in the mid game. You know, drop a ward with level 11, whether there's a Blink Dagger build, whether there's an Axe Scepter build. There's a lot of actually very viable builds on Shadow Shaman, provided he gets the farm to do what he wants.
Well, he looks like a support Shadow Shaman, perhaps, which is... Well, actually, I guess maybe not, with the Keeper of the Light, the Undying picks. Could be a carry for them. I actually can't remember who their last two picks were. I'm going to see if it's
it was SD, Undying, Keeper...
I mean, maybe it's
Shadow
a solo...
Shaman, and Magnus. So I think SS is...
Probably going to be a solo then. Yeah, I guess so. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see how this game develops. But again, the clock will be ticking most certainly for Neolution in this game. They're the ones with the clock. LGD are the ones who just want to bide their time, get their farm up. They can win early, but they don't have to. They have multiple avenues to victory. Neolution, unless this Magnus goes hard carry build, and even then kind of risky versus Lone Druid, they pretty much have to win. They have to win this one in the first 25-30 minutes.
Here we go, where this is the AP mode as all of these scumbags picking out all these OP heroes. Yeah, I saw you, whoever that locked into Nature's Prophet immediately.
Yeah.
Don't you hate that in pub games?
Disgusting Prophet pickers. They make me sick. Actually, he's one of the most fun heroes to play.
Actually, PL pickers and Dro pickers are a little bit worse, but you know.
It's not even the heroes, though, it's the combos, like picking PL Kodal. I mean, seriously? Come on, guys, don't you like fun? Apparently not. I'm sure half the people in the chat just got done doing that before they tuned in. Shout out to all you guys. Thank you all for joining us. AC is also casty if you want a different English cast. But yeah, the G1 League has been a rousing success so far. The viewership has been solid. And I mean, these are about the worst possible times you could ever have for, say, Europe or US West or East. In spite of that, I'm proud that all you guys are tuning in. Good to see the support for Asian Dota. Hope you'll stick with us, not just through today, but through the days to come. And, well, let's introduce the teams. Let me on the side of Neolution International. We will start with them because they took game 2. They're going to be your underdogs heading into this game 3. We have Harchico playing that Keeper of the Light. We have Ninja Boogie on the Undying. I am not able to actually click on heroes, so I'm going to have to restart after I introduce them. Lei on the Shadow Demon, picking up a smoke. We have Mr. Swish playing the Mag, going safe lane. And last but not least is going to be Blah. So you can introduce LGD, and I'm going to restart my Dota real quickly.
All right, yeah. One thing I do want to do before introducing LG is like Keeper of Light, 4 Observer Wards, 3 Clarity, and a Smoke of the... Oh, man. A bad time to introduce. They just smoked up, and they're crashing into the enemy jungle.
No. Oh, no. I'm trying to get back into Dota as quickly as possible.
Come back.
Reconnecting now.
Misery as a Chan running towards the enemy, and you can see that Shadow Demon, well, you can't see, but Shadow Demon is running in first. He wants to get this disruption off. Misery got some 6 Spider Sense. Uh-oh. It's gonna get close. Misery seen. Disruption is gonna be close. Oh, the horse, or whatever animal that he's riding on, give him the extra MS. Just a 5 extra MS apart from Shadow Demon, allowing Misery to get out of there. He's on the chat, of course. We do have 1437 playing Rubik once again. Meanwhile, we have LGD G on the Shrek. Not going mid for once, it's Pycat going mid with the Lone Druid. And then last but not least, Brack's going to be going up top here with Nature's Prophet.
Carry Shrek, so they want to get Pycat, that 1v1 matchup versus the enemy Magnus, I imagine. Or even Shadow Shaman, a hero that Lone Druid can still get a lot of farm against. And so our top lane is going to be Mr. Swish Magnus against Brax Nature's Prophet. A matchup that Mag should get a lot of farm in, a matchup that Prophet should get a decent amount of farm in. Neither hero is going to be shut down. Misery, does he have those smokes up? He does not. Or do we see any on 1437? We do. So we could see some early aggression, but for the moment, Misery's going to look for a little offensive jungling.
I mean, yeah, Misery, if you look at his own jungle, he knows his complete warded off. He saw 3-4 observers on the enemy support. So Misery, knowing that, well, can't get anything done, and could actually set up a decent gank on the mid lane on Blah, which is not generally a hero that you see mid nowadays, because he's so easy, so squishy, so easy to get ganked, especially with the Chen backstabbing out of the jungle.
Yeah, Harchico is sitting mid, looking for those Illuminate Blasts onto Pycat. It's not going to connect, though. Seems like they don't really know what to do with this Keeper of the Light. They were expecting just to get that really strong, aggressive tri-lane. Now he'll rotate bottom in the end. They've warded off the jungle, but Misery comes in with the backstab. Oh, our Shadow Shaman. Blah, blah, blah. Has to be careful. He'll live, but the pressure is on. Maybe not, though. He gets stunned. Nope, there's no follow-up. Just some harassment.
I mean, actually warding him away from the lane like this and delaying that Bottle and Bottle Crow, it's going to be a very, very big win for Pycat. Because once that Bottle Crow happens, that Aftershock has decent AoE to shoot onto the actual hero as he's actually harassing and last hitting the creep wave. So it's very, very decent support that's coming out from Misery. And with that Centaur being picked up, he could actually go back in the jungle and start supporting his duel on the bot lane. G's going to be getting the farm. I love the Lightning build in this case here. You want as much AoE and as much damage over time in a big area against this particular tri-lane. Here he goes, letting those fly. And of course, he wants to protect the creep wave from going into the tower. That's like prime time for Neolution to start diving with heroes like Undying and Shadow Demon.
So it looks like they're giving Ninja Boogie the Undying the farm. There's your disruption to start. We're going to see Illuminate to follow. Not enough to get a kill just yet, but some harassment being done. Not hitting the creep wave with Illuminate. Harchico quickly chewing through those Clarity Potions. Has 1 left. But the new cost, maybe it will come into play here as he's not even close to level 2 just yet. We're going to see an early smoke gank. They smoke after dewarding, so there's no vision for this. And Shadow Shaman, one of the easier heroes to kill. You can see the gank route being mapped out. They're probably going to go just like so, or even just up the side of the lane since the lane is pushing. They could do this as well, and yeah, that's what they'll do. We might see our first blood any moment now. They just need to make sure they start with the lift here. Shadow Shaman could probably run away. He doesn't have a put in the Hex yet. Misery's going to start. It looks like they're not even going to wait for 1437. Now they are. He's lurking. He's waiting. Blah. Has to be perfect. He's a little too close. He's going to get lifted. And with this, probably death to follow. The stun will follow. The auto attacks. Easy first blood. Ooh. Maybe not disruption, but he's going to die after this anyway. No way out. And the TP wasted to boot.
Well, not exactly wasted, because he's going to get level 3 out of here, which is not too bad. Shadow Shaman, however, will not have that quick bottle unless, yeah, he's going to go boots and a teleport scroll instead. So that's a big, big loss. Without the ability to bottle crow, Pycat wins this lane flat out, because he's going to get his level 5, and that bear will just be on Bloff's face quickly, immediately. Remember what we said about this pick? Neolution have to win the early game. Shadow Shaman is going to be a big part of their early game as well, because he can actually help tower pushes. So this is a kind of a big blow to what Neolution's got in store for the Shrek.
They're dominating all 3 lanes. Brax currently 10-4, even with the Magnus, and has basically 1 less. He has 3 more denies. Net's going to go in bottom lane on delay. They'll start this off. He is level 3. Illuminate being channeled. Can't self-disrupt. Goes down from full to nothing in a few seconds flat. The Tombstone deployed. Now just going to be farmed some additional gold for LGD.int. Losing 2 lanes, I mean now really all 3 lanes, because even bottom lane, Leshrac was farming, and the reason I said it was a waste of TP mid is sure Shadow Demon gets some experience, but now you've just freed up G. You're running an aggressive tri-lane to shut something down, to get an early tower, and G up to level 4, not being shut down in the slightest, the 2nd highest farmer on the map, Pycat crushing mid, and of course Prophet doing well top. So 3 lanes, heavily won for LGD.int, the gold graph reflecting it, already over 1,500 gold, already over 1,000 experience. Just such a risky draft from neolution.int, and seems like they're not having the start they were hoping for.
Yeah, I cannot stress how well the Radiant team plays so far. Keeper of Light finds all the runes. He had a regen, he had a haste. Oh, he actually runs through a Sentry where there's a net, a couple of pot shot harass, and that Keeper of Light a little bit more annoying. Again, I want to stress how well the Radiant has been playing, especially the 2 supports. Able to, first Misery starting the opposing jungle, recognizing that his own jungle is warded off, setting up those ganks on the mid lane through a smoke after D-warding. A lot of small plays, but all these small plays matters, and of course now they're big lead because of it.
I'm not Pycat 22-20. It's not an easy lane for Shadow Shaman unless he could just bottle crow, constantly spam Ether Shock, and with that death, it slows down his bottle crow action. I think we're going to see the bottle out next, but he was forced to go back for boots, just didn't feel confident. They'll go bottom. Disruption, Soul Catcher, Tombstone as well, Illuminate, but no stuns, and G's just going to walk away. He'll be fine. Maybe not. Decay dive from Ninja Boogie, looking for an additional decay. Doesn't actually have the cooldown just yet. The Illuminate channeled, won't connect. Prophet ult bounces through. Here comes Brax, picks off 1, wants the double, looking for it with Misery here. That will be a double kill. Misery the one to claim it. Might be a triple. Tri-lane, gonna get wiped off the bat. 5-0. This is looking incredibly bad for neolution.int. They don't have much late game. They're getting destroyed in all 3 lanes right now, aside from top, where Magnus is farming okay, but not participating in any kills. And I don't know, Lumi. This is as bad as you can have a start out with on a lineup that was very little in the way of comeback
top lane,
mechanics.
RP being dropped on Brax, skewers backwards. So let's see if Brax is going to make it out alive.
He's got a salve. There's no mana. He's fine.
I think he's going to salve through that. Yeah, no mana for the shockwave.
And mid lane, more death. Blah's about to get caught. The smoke will be revealed. Misery going to cut off his retreat. Zapped and dead. And that's just more success for LGD.int. RP blown, now not available to bail at the tri-lane. And good play from Brax. Able to get just out of range, no mana on the Magnus to actually drop that final shockwave. And now a ward behind the tower, even less area for that Shadow Shaman. And now the tower under severe pressure. Bottom lane, they do get the counter kill in Leshrac, but
yeah,
they're losing a tier 1 mid for a kill of Leshrac.
Decay, Soul Rip, every spell being dropped on G, but they just can't really do much. I mean, the Radiant tri-lane, when they get kills, they can actually push off the potential of the Darkshore Warlord. I mean, we can't really push off an undying kill. It just doesn't do much.
Here comes a hasted mag, no RP. Boy, would he love to have that now. He could look for a skewer. He's going to whiff completely. And I think that's it. Gets netted, gets thrown up in the air, now back down. Maybe looking for a shockwave. It's going to hit the 2 supports. But only level 3 shockwave, not enough. Brax calmly pushing out top. Probably going to see the mech rush from him. I imagine for Misery we'll see the quick arcane boots, and that's really the most efficient way to do it. Their 5-man Dota is going to be pretty strong in the mid game. G just tanking up. That's really what LGD.int need, is just anything to help them tank, because they'll have the damage later on.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, they're controlling this game so well. Very reminiscent of game number 1. They would have had like 5-0 at one point. Of course, they don't really spiral out of control, but Nature's Prophet getting yet another kill. Shadow Demon also gets picked off. This TP in from Brax, as well as the one that he did earlier, just taking over this game right now. Brax playing rather well in all 3 games so far, I want to say.
And unfortunately, there's just not a whole lot they can do about it, because how do you stop that Prophet from reliably joining the fights? You can skewer him, but he's just going to teleport again. You can't really stop him from joining the fights, and it's not like they needed too much help anyway. The tri-lane of neolution and lots of damage and control, but no real synergy between these heroes. They didn't have like a great follow-up stun to Disruption, so it feels like a draft for Neolution that we're like, we just should pick strong laning phase, but they're not really planning out exactly how they were going to win all of those lanes, and in fact, not winning any of them now. And obviously, credit to LGD as well, because we saw 1437 early dewarding to set up the smoke in their jungle and some good movement, but a lot of this does feel like it's just coming down to a better draft from LGD.int.
Here we go, Misery sending illusions, sending Chen creeps. They see him coming. They could actually set up a trap, and here comes a teleportation scroll. That's from the, oh, can you actually run in against this? Misery gets illusion blown up, Soul Catcher, Disruption, Illuminate. It's gonna be huge damage, and well, he was dead immediately.
Yeah, simultaneously the kill will happen bottom. They pick off that Undying, and one of the really the one position it almost feels like this game. Maybe you say the mag is there. Just an awkward lineup for Neolution as we head towards the mid game. Their lineup obviously built around getting 2 quick towers in that enemy bottom lane, and the lightning spam really slowing it down. G is now gone back for 3 points in Edict. He's only taken 1 in the stun, and he's just muscling this tower down. TP will potentially come in from Brax if needed, but they get the tower. Now the Disruption to fly. Tombstone is dropped. Decay will be here. Oh boy, I think the Tombstone was just stolen. It was. G may fall. Prophet, ult drops. Willie TP into the fight. He's coming. The backup is going to be here in a few moments' time. Will be Blah to drop first. Blows the wards as well. Doesn't get the tower. The chase on a G. Not dead yet. Ninja Boogie may just die for this dive. He's got a soul rip, but the hand of God to turn the fight around. Now, the lift. No mana for it. He's got arcane boots already. And the triads, the stun, the kill. 11-2. This game is really spiraling out of control. As casters, Lumi, we always want to say, like, how can this team come back? But there's almost no way to come back with the draft that Neolution.int has.
Yeah, Neolution went for a very, very greedy draft, and in the sense that, hey, you gotta win early to make it work, and, well, didn't win those early games. Also, Misery with a very, very beautiful play. He had Hand of God the whole time. He just wanted, he was baiting with G, getting him closer and closer to tower. Undying thought he almost had the kill. Hand of God came in when he was under tower range, and Undying definitely paid for it.
They dropped the RP middle. Pike, it'll be skewered back in to this Illuminate. Actually, no, he'll get... Oh, no, the Illuminate just clipping him on the sides there, even with the lowered AoE. Pycat manning up, perhaps. Manning down, but using that bear. Going to work on Blah. If he gets in a tangle, he'll get a kill. The Shockwave misses, and now Pycat on the way out. He will escape. Chen can probably send him back to base. No, not doing so yet for Misery. Doesn't quite have the mana. He's going for his Arcane Boots in the midst of the chaos. That was 4 heroes in an RP blow, and they don't even get the kill on Pycat. And Brax, Ultimate Orb, not even going for the mech, just going for, well, more of a mid-game, late-game oriented build. And hey, with the start he's having, he'll have to sight the Vice pretty soon.
And normally, as the way that LGD loves to play the Nature's Prophet, he will be going for the mech, but obviously Chen's going to be on that one. So he's going to be going for a bigger item. Cypher Vice is going to be great to set up more ganks. And to be honest, when you have the Undying or Magnus Scythed up, there's just 0 really teamfight ability on Neolution.int. And those are, well, 0 teamfights, not exactly how you want to start having your teamfights. LGD looking for that tier 1 up top, and of course those Chen creeps are going to be so big at this stage of the game. They count like just heroes, and when you have low HP support heroes,
wow.
Tombstone being used offensively, and Keeper, it's going to be kept alive for a little bit longer, but he's going to be dead.
Yeah, now the dive under the tower, the Tombstone clearing out the trees, paving the way for the follow-up treants. Now the chase on a Magnus. Pycat looking for the kill, needs 1 more auto attack, he'll claim it, and then additional damage, basically insult to injury. Shockwave stolen. LGD just overrunning Neolution. That was 4 heroes killed, and our poor, pathetic Shadow Shaman, the hero, not the player, Blah, trying to basically meander top, but nothing he could do. I don't even know what can stop LGD at this point. Maybe a 5-hero RP, but even then there's Hand of God. There's just a lot of tankiness in general from these heroes. Ultimate Orb up on the Prophet, high levels on the supports. Even with Keeper of the Light, they could stall, but there's no obvious comeback mechanic for this lineup.
There definitely isn't. I feel like Blah also misplayed there. He should have basically pushed hard mid, even perhaps dropped a ward for that tower. If you could get a trade at this point, I mean, it's better than losing tower for free. Teleport on the mid lane. We're going to see no tango on Blah. He does drop the ward, but the splitter on top, and that ward completely wasted. And Brax even going to farm those wards if he wants.
While that was happening, they placed a nice aggressive ward. It's now 18-2. They saw everything. The rotation in for the supports of NeoES.int, who are basically just cows going into the meat factory at this point. Well, I don't know if you call it a factory, but the butchery, whatever you want to call it. They're getting chopped to bits every time they try and fight Lumi, and I think it only gets harder from here. Brax close to a scythe device. Soon there will be nowhere safe to farm. I'm a little disappointed, to be honest. I felt like neolution.int, they showed that they can take LGD.int late game, albeit it wasn't the strongest draft ever, but for me, too gimmicky. I think more of a standard, solid, well-rounded draft would have suited them better in this game 3.
Yeah, again, it really comes down to the draft, and it definitely has not worked out for Neolution. And of course, again, good play on LGD. That early level 1 play, level 2 play, really set the pace of the game. And once you start winning those trialing, the game gets very, very hard for the other side. And right now, there's just 0 defense with no wards up on Shadow Shaman. There is RP, but very, very difficult time dropping them. You can't just walk in as Magnus. You get really picked up by Telekinesis Lift, you get stunned by G, and you are basically dead.
Yeah, then of course there's Hand of God. There's now Mech complete on Misery. So yeah, don't even need it on your Nature's Prophet. If you're going to take 5 outer towers in the first 13 minutes and have 18 kills and be 4-1 and 6 on your Chen, yeah, you could just rush that Mech on the Chen, even going Arcane Boots first. Ninja Boogie will TP out successfully bottom lane. But they're just systematically dismantling neolution.int's defenses. LGD.int bouncing back in this game 3 and looking like they're going to take it. They want to take the 6 outer tower. And I'm not sure. Again, neolution.int, maybe they hit a big RP, a big Illuminate, but even if they win a fight or two, it's not like they have some hard carry who's going to turn the game around. In fact, their late game is pretty atrocious.
Yeah, and even if they win that fight, they're most likely not going to be high mana or high HP enough to really take a tower off of it. So you're just kind of getting a couple kills, which doesn't mean too much. Meanwhile, though, Radiant definitely has tanking potential to go through with a tower, Roshan, even Rax if that's what they want. The Regal, the push is going to be coming in. Of course, that bear has phase Maelstrom, so that tower is going to be going down very quickly as well. Trian's going to get resummoned for a little bit of tanking. And look at the front line coming in from LG right now. How do you go through this front line? Trian's creeps.
You don't. It's like watching a pack of like 100-pound nerds in high school up against like those guys who just mature early and are like 250-pound linemen who are just going to bowl you over. This big bad bear. You don't fight, you just run. And unfortunately, running means you're forfeiting towers. We may see a bear go down to Roshan here. Yep, and Tango gonna be procced. Start just gets resummoned by Pycat. He's now got his Maelstrom up, and with this Aegis, they'll be looking to break the base. And maybe neolution.int could stop a round or two, but stopping more than that's gonna be tough. 1437 has a Blink Dagger, and now RP can be easily stolen. Disconnect from G. Gonna be coming back soon. Oh man.
There's a Blink on 1437. There's a side finish on the Prophet. BKB's almost up on G.
I feel so deflated right now after that game too. I mean, it's like all the air has just gone out of our collective tires.
I mean, it's the nature of the draft. Again, game 2, the Radiant or LGD was forced to play the way of Neolution. Play a kind of a very active, aggressive style. And right now we're seeing more of what LGD wants to play, which is push your towers, engage in very early game aggression, which is what LG is more comfortable with. Their heroes are just simply more suited for that kind of play. So the draft really determines a lot. And I personally always hate games decided by the draft, but you're gonna have those games like that.
Yeah, I guess neolution.int, they just felt like they needed to do something non-standard, or maybe just got backed into the corner with the opening from LGD.int in that first phase of the draft. Whatever the case, we'll have the unpause now. Aegis of the Immortal, probably going to be picked up by G here, as he'll come back with full mana. I can just spam all his spells again. And now they're going to look to push mid. 5 heroes grouped up. The full complement of Chen creeps available. Mech, Hand of God, Blink on your Rubik, as well as Shockwave, a great pushing ability. The Scythe on Brax. Really everything, and then a couple of extra bucks in the back pocket to break the base.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to say they really need pipe to break up a hill pill, but
no,
especially if they got to. I mean, RP Illuminate.
But they have Hand of God as well as Mech, so I would say that fills in a pinch as a pipe. Plus, Lone Druid Bear is not dying to those nukes. You need a lot more than that to bring it down.
Well, here's the thing, though. Illuminate at the shot could actually blow up the entire creep wave, so they would never really have a creep wave walking up the hill.
Yeah.
So maybe the pipe is needed to actually protect that creep wave.
I don't think it matters, because Lone Druid Bear could just sit on the high ground, working on the tower. You have Leshrac who can just walk up and Edict it. Plus you have Chen creeps, which probably will live through at least the initial barrage, and Edict will just damage the tower. If you go in, you're probably going in on a Leshrac with an Aegis. You're not going to catch Lone Druid if he sits back, and you don't even have a Blink Dagger on your Magnus, so I think they don't even need the creeps, to be totally honest.
Well,
we'll see, though. We'll see.
Going to be rising both jungles at the moment to really take advantage. And looks like they want to take a fight up top here. And here we go. The spam will begin from a level 5 keeper.
And now a BKB on G. Even another item that... What do they do against this? They can RP him, but how do they bring him down? They lack physical damage. They are heavily lacking that. And it looks like Brax may go back for the pipe. He's picked up a casual cloak. Here comes the death push. The tornado is here. The GG tornado on the way. The first, basically, harbinger of things to come. And, well, they're going to look to break the base with this, Lumi. Here comes the next wave of creeps. The lone druid bear. That panda, not so cute anymore. It hits hard. Going to start chopping away at the tower. Illuminate. They're bringing the creep wave down, but that doesn't really matter. Chen creeps are still here. The tower taking tons of damage from Edict. Nobody particularly low. They'll mech up. They might wait for that mech to respawn. Maybe they'll wait for a secondary bear resummon if needed. But what can neolution.int really do to stop this?
Basically, that uphill kind of peak for the Radiant was they traded a Force of Nature treant for a Tombstone and a ultimate being used on Undying. They'll keep resummoning those treants whenever it comes off cooldown, and eventually neolution will just get kind of a outlasted, if you will.
As well as the big thing, which is over half the health on the tower. So, I mean, that's a pretty good trade for LGD.int.
Yeah, and they're, like you said, I mean, the pipe's definitely not. It would be helpful, but it's definitely not.
Oh yeah, definitely would help. Would make it easier and safer, but. Well, we see a gem up on 1437. Looks like he just wants to make sure that there's no wards. He'll probably go for an Observer Ward on the high ground. Oh, they're going to catch Flaw. Not a good start to the fight. He will be disrupted, but the Split Earth is there. G says, thanks for the setup stun, guys. Nails him. Brings him down quickly. The bear will fall. G running low. He's got the Aegis. He'll come back if he does die. He hasn't died yet. There you go. Buyback from Shadow Shaman. Desperate. Throw everything at this Leshrac. There's an RP, but there's Chain Stun. Stopping that RP. Test of Fate. Soul Rip to keep him alive. Not enough. He will fall. G mans up. Drops the big BKB and the AoE, manning in delay and just bringing him down. This horse is secretly a man. That's just too much. Ninja Boogie, he's had enough. He's going to GG out. An unfortunate end for neolution.int, but, well, they put up a big fight in game number 2.
Yep. I mean, again, very, very standard. LGD.int makes it look easy. And, well, they're moving on, LGD.int. Game 2 looked pretty bad. There were people starting to doubt LGD.int, but Game 1 and 3 just showing that they're still, the top dogs between these two teams.
Well, it will be LGD International, the Western favorites, of course. They will be moving on. This hodgepodge of European, North American players, they advance into the Phase 2 final round. If they win their next best of 3, which will be up against either Vici Gaming or Realimin, they will advance into Phase 3, where the top dogs are waiting for them from last season. Orange, LGD China, Invictus Gaming, and of course Team DK. A fearsome Final 4 lurking at the top of this tower. Can they make it into the final stage, the LAN finals? Well, they're not there yet. I would say I'm feeling like they're maybe showing some weakness, so we're seeing kind of LGD at that game 2. The draft wasn't really the best. This game, they go back to a bunch of heroes that are very strong, but I don't think they're getting this draft against most teams. You're not going to get your Chen that late in the draft. Maybe you get the lone Druid, but teams are not going to give LGD these kind of picks. Teams like LGD China, DK, IG, they may win, but they're not going to win with this hero composition.
Yeah, they always ban out that Chen Enchantress, and as a result, they get heroes like Keeper and Darkseer, which, are all also good. Meanwhile, fights are happening out, though. These are just, making those stats look nice here for LGD.int as they're winning most of these fights.
Well, our admin has disconnected. Pikachu, he'll tap out. We'll see a few more kills before it's all said and done. The final moments for neolution.int. He'll actually reconnect. He ends the game. He says, no, you said GG, you're done. Pikachu is here. And he delivers that final verdict with the authority of a